Welcome, stargazers. You found the Lawless Astrology channel. Today we are going to be talking about the Gemini new moon on June 6, 2024. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about a ceremony that you can do to help kind of ground that and bring it into your life and kind of capture a little of the magic of the new moon energy. So if you've not joined me before, this is the Lawless Astrology channel. And what we do here is we kind of co-create with the cosmos. We look at what's going on in the planetary energy, looking at astrology. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I studied with the renowned Stephen Forrest for over 20 years. And right now, what we are here to do is kind of help you find the most peaceful path to life, bring in a little bit of the magic that exists out there. And yeah, that's what we do here. We talk about all different kinds of topics. So hopefully you'll stick around and you'll learn a little bit about what we're going to be doing with this new moon in Gemini. So let me first say that one of the most important things that I learned about the moon energy is that there are different phases of the moon. And two very important phases are the new moon and the full moon. There's all different kinds of ones in between, but these are really magical times where we can kind of plant seeds or recognize when things come to fruition. And so we're talking about a new moon here. I'm starting a new series that I'm going to go through the new moon and the full moon for the entire year. So we can have this kind of 2-year period where we can manifest things and we can kind of take stock and pay gratitude for the things that have manifested in our lives. So with this new moon, the ceremonies are going to be tailored to the specific new moon energy and the aspects and what's going on in the sky for that specific new moon. So it's going to be kind of a fresh, new sort of ceremony. It's not going to be something that's going to take you an hour or, 4 hours. It's something that you can do quickly, but something to help you grow and work with the cosmos to kind of find a little bit more self-acceptance, a little bit more self-knowledge, and hopefully bring some magic into your life. So ceremony to me is incredibly important because it marks you're kind of putting out into the world like, this is what I want. This is where I'm going. And I do believe that if we know where we're going and where we want to go, then the universe conspires to help bring us what we're asking for. So a lot of times people just have a lot of, they're not clear, right? And so finding clarity through the different signs can help you with a whole well-rounded vision of who you are becoming and who you want to be. So that is a very important thing to me is ceremony. I've worked with different full moon and new moon ceremonies for decades now, and I really feel like it has helped me manifest the life that I always wanted. So, okay. So let's kick off and talk a little bit about this particular new moon. It will be this Thursday, June 6th, 2024. If you cannot do a ceremony on the 6th proper, or just be aware of the energies, and then you've got a couple days where you're kind of still feeling that energy and you're still in that new moon phase. So keep that in mind, that if you can't make it happen on that specific date, that's when the energy is strongest, but just keep that in mind. So this particular new moon is in the sign of Gemini, and it's a really sweet new moon in the sense that it has Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all in Gemini conjunct one another. So they're all acting together, supporting one another in the sign of Gemini. And what is the sign of Gemini all about? The sign of Gemini is about curiosity. It is about magic. It is about communications, listening, reading, writing, media, social media, books, really anything having to do with kind of getting the word out. That is very Gemini, but it's also about wit and comedy and fun and synchronicities. So, short trips, places. So Gemini energy is fast moving, it's alive with energy, and it just has a lot of that kind of electric energy where, your mind is waking up. So a new moon as I've talked about before, and I will be talking about more, is a time for planting seeds. So it's the dark of the moon, and it's a time where we can't see what's in front of us. We can't see what's coming, but what we can feel into is how we want to manifest something. It's not going to necessarily come to fruition tomorrow. This might be a 2.5 year process. But what you can do now is really kind of set the intention, set the tone. We can't see what's coming, but we can feel into it. It's a much more kind of trusting energy. You have to trust and feel into what's coming. And so we've got this kind of sort of, fun, vibrant, electric thought process energy, and we're going to be, bringing it to life and manifesting our ideas. Okay, so this is a big one for ideas and writing. And so we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the ceremony part of it. So the one thing I will say is that we also have, it's not just all amazing and awesome and easy peasy, which, a lot of Gemini energy, it likes to get along with other people. Gemini is not a, argumentative sign. It's a pretty flowing sign in the sense that, it's buzzing around, it's doing things, it's being a social butterfly. But we have a square to Saturn and Pisces. So an analogy that I kind of came up with is my son is in his graduation week with middle school, and they're having pool parties, and he's in 7th grade, and they're doing all sorts of fun things. They had like a field day, and all the things that kids do like in the last few days of school, and it's a really like fun time for them. And he came home and he told me, it wasn't the best day. And I said, why? And he said, because my English teacher assigned me a 500-page book for this summer. And so in the midst of all this fun stuff, you get a 500-page book. Like, happy summer, right? So it's hard. There's like something that's coming along that's saying, well, you know what? You can have the fun. You can manifest your ideas. You can, brainstorm. You can, connect with other people. You can network. But the bottom line is you are going to need to do some work. And you're going to have a little bit of discernment about where you put your energy. There's a lot of energy in Gemini, and Gemini can feel a little chaotic sometimes. So one of the things that I had noticed was there was a lot of energy at the beginning of the week where people were very optimistic, and there was a lot of really good transits going on in the sky. And as we get closer to this square with Saturn, there's kind of this sense of there's an overstimulation and a confusion, not necessarily knowing where to look next. And, there's a lot of noise in the media, and there's just, one day Trump is, found guilty and everyone thinks that's one thing. And then you turn on the TV and you hear pundits, noise, right? So much noise going on. And so Saturn's coming in and basically saying, okay, there's a time for you to an opportunity for you to bring your ideas to fruition, but you need to figure out which ideas are worth bringing to fruition. You can't just lean into all the noise. So with Jupiter there, conjunct this new moon, there is going to be synchronicities. So there's going to be opportunities for you to kind of take a deep breath and look around, and with Venus there's going to be allies. So figuring out who are your allies, what are your friends saying, or your love relationships, what are they encouraging you to do? So during this new moon period, it's okay to kind of interview other people that care about you and have your best interest at heart. Talk to them, because there's allies, there's people coming and giving you messages. Pay attention to messages. Also, there is, with that Jupiter, a tremendous amount of synchronicity. And Mercury, again, messages. You're getting the information, but the information just might be a little too much. It just might feel like you don't know which way to look. You don't know where to prioritize or where to focus. So what Saturn is coming in and saying is like, one, you're going to have to really work to put your dreams into to make your dreams work, right? You have to do the work. You can't just like expect that, you want to write a book, but you're not going to sit down and actually do the task of writing the book. Or you want to start a YouTube channel, but you have no idea how to do that. And so you just sort of give up instead of learning the different ways to edit and the different, equipment you need to buy and how to upload it, right? So there's like a piece that is missing, that is the hard work, right? But what that also does is it gives you boundaries, it gives you structure, it gives you kind of the, it helps you, almost like Saturn is another one of these allies telling you this is worth putting your time and energy into, or this is not worth putting your time and energy into. I hope that makes sense. So this is a really sweet, flowing, new moon, where I think that we can do a lot of really cool things and bring things into manifestation. And we'll talk a little bit about how we're going to do that. But again, we also need to think about, the practical side of things. And that's what Saturn really is about discernment and the practical side of things. So let's talk about ritual now. Let's talk about the actual ritual that I would encourage you to do and I will be doing myself. So in the sign of Gemini, it is about writing, it is about journaling, and it is about really, pen to paper or videotaping yourself if like that's not your style. Something where you set aside some time, it can be literally 10 minutes, but I want you to write out your dreams. I want you to write out what you want to manifest. What is something you've always wanted to do, but you've been afraid to do? This does not mean that this is, a commitment you're making. I just want you to brainstorm, and you can put down anything that comes to mind. So, what did you want to be when you were a kid? What did you study in college that you gave up on? Were you in a band at one point and you always wanted to, play lead guitar, but you played bass? Whatever the thing is, right? Everyone has a thing, right? And so your dreams could be, revolve around relationship. It could around career. It could be around health. There's a lot of different things. It could be around your own self-confidence and just carrying yourself with a degree of confidence. What is it you want to manifest? And I want you to just write down as many things as you possibly can think of in a short amount of time. So, but there needs to be at least 3, right? Really kind of lean into like, I always wanted to walk the red carpet. I don't care what it is. Think of some dreams that you've had that you would like to manifest, and you write them down. And if you really are not into writing things down, then record it, okay? But communicate this in some way. The next step is then I want you to kind of pick out one. And I want you to say, what's the one that really speaks to me? What's the one that I want to actually plant the seeds today that I'm going to follow through and I'm going to check back in on over the next couple of years to feed and nurture? So if you're planting a garden, you've got to water that garden. And so you need to have a plan. And so this is where the second part comes in, is with Saturn. What are some actionable things that you are willing to do to make this dream come true? Okay, so just using one example, it could be, I've always wanted to write a book. Okay, so that is a very lofty thing to do, but it's much more possible now than it ever was before. And with Pluto going to be sticking in Aquarius, come January for the next 30 years, there is a democratization going on of all different kinds of things. The gatekeepers are kind of melting away. And so things like writing a book are much more possible. And, creating a YouTube channel. These are just a couple examples because they were things that they're on my list, right? So I'm just giving you examples of things that were on my list. So, in order to actually make something happen, you've got to, take the idea and then you have to commit to making it work. And so what are some things that you can do? Can you take some classes? Can you set aside 30 minutes a day to write? Let's say you want to lose, 15 pounds. Are you willing to, put in your calendar an hour a day on your Peloton. Whatever it is for you, think about the things that you can do to manifest this dream, okay? And then I want you to write down, at least 3. Again, you're going to pull out the one dream you want to help manifest, and then you're going to write down 3 concrete things that you're going to do, 3 steps that are going to get you where you want to go, okay? So then the last piece of this ceremony, and I know this doesn't sound like a ceremony, it sounds a little bit more like a coaching exercise, but it's in Gemini, and I am your ally, and this is what has been spoken to me from Jupiter, so this is the synchronicity that hopefully if you're watching this is what you need to hear. I want you to walk outside. Gemini is an air sign, okay? I want you to walk outside. I want you to feel the air on your face, and I want you to take 3 big deep breaths. And I really want you to speak out loud, because this is Gemini new moon, okay? We're speaking out loud. What are you manifesting? And what are the concrete steps that you are willing to take to get to that next place, okay? So that is your ceremony for this month. All right, that's your new moon ceremony for this month. In a couple weeks, we're going to be talking about the Capricorn full moon ceremony, which is very different energy, and it's also very different what we do on a new moon versus a full moon. Okay, so a new moon is about giving some, an idea of yours, some energy. And since this is kind of our kickoff one, I really want you to go big and what is the dream? What is the dream that you've always wanted to manifest? Have you always wanted to drive cross country? I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be writing a book. It doesn't have to be directing a documentary. But what is it for you that is your dream? It's very unique and personalized. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and I'm not going to get into it too much because I ultimately want you to really just brainstorm. That's a big part of Gemini energy, is just kind of, lots of data, lots of, ideas that just kind of come out of everywhere, and I want you to put it down. But let's talk about your sun and rising signs. It's really, I always want to encourage you to find out where the new moon, in this case, Jupiter, sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, where they are in your personal chart. And I can kind of, you can go, if you don't have a copy of your chart, you can always go to astro.com. There's several different places on the internet where you can type in, how do I find my personal chart, but I like astro.com for a free charts. And so look for where those particular planets are in your chart, okay? And so that'll give you clues too about where you're being supported during this new moon. So if you don't want to do that and you just know your sun sign, or you already know your sun and rising sign, I'm just going to kind of go through and riff a little bit on, give you some key words for each of the signs and what house they're impacting. So it will give you a sense of, just kind of kickstart you, get you going a little bit. So for Aries, this is in your 3rd house of communication. So we've got another communication exclamation point. So let's think about, again, things like books, things about transportation, media, social media. Have you always wanted to become an influencer? Have you always wanted to play video games for a living? Video games are ruled by the 3rd house. So that's Aries energy in the 3rd house. So this is an area where you may be supported. Again, this is for both rising sign and sun sign, but maybe more applicable for rising. Taurus in the 2nd house, money. So do you need to manifest more money or more income in your life? That is the 2nd house is traditionally about values and money. So it's not all money, but a lot of times when we're planting these kind of new moon seeds and trying to bring things to fruition, who doesn't want a little bit more money? So Taurus, you're really favored in this aspect. And in the 1st house is Gemini. So Gemini, this is a big year for you to have all of these planets right around your birthday and have Jupiter there. So this is kind of your lucky year, and you're getting a lot of extra energy. And again, be aware of all of the inputs, because as a Gemini or Gemini rising, you can get carried away. You have some magical energy that, my mom is a Gemini, and my mom, she was always a little bit chaotic, and she was not necessarily the mom who was like baking brownies at the at the bake sale for school. But, if there was a rainbow, my mom was like, we're getting in the car and we're driving to the end of that rainbow. And we would drive. And like, that is some of my best memories in life. So my mother infused some magic in me. And I really believe that was the Gemini. So Gemini, tap into your own magic. You have magic this year. This is the year for you to kind of just play and have fun and like own your magic. Okay. So whatever you always wanted to become, you're becoming it. This is your year to like grab it, become it. Okay. Cancer in the 12th house. This is an investigation of the unconscious. Okay, what does that really mean? It's hard to say, but what it does mean is it's a good time for you to, hey, have you really like been suffering from depression and you don't want to be depressed anymore? Maybe get to the bottom of what's been eating you. That's one manifestation. Maybe you just need to chill out and take care of yourself, a little bit more self-care. Things in the 12th house tend to be hidden. So for Cancers, I would say, I'm a Cancer. And so I would say really meditate on what is it that you want to write down. So before this new moon ceremony, I may have to get like my mind clear, and I may need to just sort of tap into a higher energy to really kind of almost like channel what it is that I want to bring into fruition. So 12th house energy for Cancer and Cancer rising. So very spiritual, very spiritual. Leo in the 11th house, groups and communities. So this is where your friends come into play. So, maybe set up a new moon ceremony with your friends, feed off of each other's energy. And again, Venus being there in the sign of Gemini, there's allies. People are going to be able to give you information. And you'll be able to share it too. It's all about kind of that collective energy. That's what you're tapping into right now. Leo in general, Leo and Leo rising, you have creativity. You know how to take two disparate things and create something new. And this is just an opportunity to find your collective group. Maybe that is what you want to manifest, is a community of people that are like-minded. And so you don't feel so alone. I know that we are, several years out of COVID, and so people are starting to find one another again, but there was really an epidemic of loneliness. And so maybe that is where you put your energy, is like, I don't want to be alone anymore. I want to find my people. I want to find my tribe, and I want to like make a difference in the world, volunteer, that could be something. Activism. Maybe there's something you're really passionate about. This is an opportunity for you to make that manifest. Virgo, this is about career. So do you want a new job? Are you wanting to put out there that you want a promotion? Are you putting out there that you are not sure if this is the right job for you and you want more clarity? Are you starting a business and you want to be a creative entrepreneur? So Virgo, you have the opportunity right now to put something out there, and Virgo rising, about your career. And your place in the world, the respect that you get and how you're seen in the world. Okay, so yeah. All right. So now we're into Libra. Libra's in the 9th house. 9th house is about legal matters. It is about travel. It is like travel to foreign lands. So have you always wanted to go on a safari in Africa? Have you always wanted to go to Europe? Put it down. Like maybe that seems like something like, I've always wanted to go to Japan, but I have no idea how I would make that happen. Okay, write it down, and then start saving, $50 a week toward my trip, or begin taking Spanish lessons if you want to go to Spain. Whatever it is, travel is very favored. Law is very favored if you want to learn something about being a lawyer. Philosophy. Take a philosophy class. That could be something that could be your intention. So anything 9th house, really, for Libra and Libra rising. Scorpio, you're in the 8th house. So this is a deep dive for you on anything psychological. It has to do with other people's money, inheritance. This could be a time like, you want to write your will. Like you can kind of like say like, all right, I am going to, get some clarity around my estate. Because you're going to be leaving money to people someday. Who knows what it is for you, but 8th house things are sex, death, taxes. So improving your sex life. That could be, something that you're planting the seeds. So Scorpio, you always are concerned about sex. So there you go. A little gift for you on this new moon in Gemini. All right, Sagittarius in the 7th house. So this is about love and relationships. So if you want to call in a partner, you want to improve your relationship, you want to be bold enough to leave your current relationship. Whatever that may be for you, again, think of this as a process over the next, couple years. And this is like, your first step off the train into a whole new world. Capricorn in the 6th house. This is about work, your day-to-day work, not necessarily your career, but like your habits, your health, sleeping, like just like how you take care of yourself, how you take care of the household. So that might sound sort of boring, but it's like, wow, you have a real opportunity here. Like, what if you live in a really messy house and like you've always wanted to Marie Kondo it? Like, that's an opportunity. That's that's something you can do. Again, everybody always wants to like lose weight. That's like the number one thing, like quitting smoking, which would be good too. Cutting back on drinking, losing weight. These are all things that are always like New Year's resolutions, right? So we're not doing New Year's resolutions, but we're doing dreams. And if you want to make your dream to come true, that you want to be healthier and happier, okay, so how do you want to do that? Maybe the concrete action is I quit smoking. And I do that by going to get a patch. And I do that by, talking to my doctor about what has worked for his or her other patients. Maybe I just found out not that long ago, a couple years ago, that I have something called lipedema. And, I really like dove headfirst into that. And then I kind of set out a plan of how I was going to address it. So figure out what are the things that, you want to make manifest. You want to make real around health, everyday things around your household, chores and work and daily habits. Okay, Aquarius in the 5th house. This is around creativity, love, play, children. Okay, so again, your relationship with your children, there's something that you could potentially chew on. Also, like if you've always wanted to create something, you've wanted to take an art class, you've always wanted to, you've had some natural innate talent for something, whether it's, collage. That's a really great thing to do. Anyway, just what is it that is your true passion? Okay, what do you want to bring out into the world and create? This is a creative energy for Aquarius. And last but not least, Pisces, you are in the 4th house of family. So everybody has got something that they need to work on with their family. Or, it's about forgiveness. Like, who do you need to forgive? Who do you need to talk to? Who do you need to, and again, like I said, Pisces and Pisces rising. So all these rising signs are really important. And the best thing really to do is figure out where this new moon planetary energy is in your specific chart. But this is kind of the shorthand because I know it will affect you in some way. And this is just to kind of give you a little bit of a guidance. So again, Pisces rising, 4th house, anything to do with your family. So I hope that this information lands the way I intend it to be, which is very healing and kind of also exciting because it's like kicking off a full 1 year cycle of or 2 year cycle of let's work with the new moon, let's work with the full moon, and let's, kind of integrate the zodiac into our lives, and let's co-create with the planets and the signs and really tap into the moon, which at the end of the day is our emotions, to make our lives better. Okay, this is all about manifesting with higher powers to, something bigger than us. And I mean, I know in my own personal life, it has worked. When I know what I want and I put it through ritual, through magic of some sort, and I work with the astrological and planetary energies, it's been very successful for me. So I hope it is successful for you. I do believe, as always, there is a reason and a season for it all. And the cosmos is supporting you. The universe is supporting you. So in everything that you do, please know that we support you. Everyone watching this, I'm sending really good energy out to everyone who partakes in this, and hopefully, you enjoy this, and it's a good exercise for you. So if it's interesting to you, please if you do the ceremony and you're like, that was really powerful, I'm really glad I did that and I inspired you in some way, please subscribe, share with your friends, and come back, because I'm going to be doing, like I said, every month I'm going to do a new moon and I'm going to do a full moon, and it's going to be unique each month to really tailor the planetary energies. So don't be afraid of that Saturn square. It's just asking us to do some hard work, but it's also giving us the gift of discernment, boundaries, and structure. All right, until next time, thanks.